Hey there, I am D. Some of you might remember my earlier review of Friday the 13th Mother's Day, which I tore apart for the piece of crap that it is. Unfortunately, this was only the first in a series of 4 novels. And trust me, if you think this one's bad, it only gets worse from here. Now, I'd love to talk about all 3 of them, but, well, they say that every time you get angry, you lose 1 hour of your life. And I fear if I talk about all 3 of them, I'll lose years of my life. So, let's just stick to this one. Jason's Curse. And again, the cover alone is enough to make you cringe. It already begins with a title. Jason, who's not even in the novel, is in the title. But okay, it wouldn't be the first time you have a story entitled Curse of the Witch, or something along those lines, without there actually being a witch in the story. So this I can forgive. What really bugs me is the tagline. Jason's gone fishing and he's using live bait. Even forgetting for a moment that Jason is not the killer, here's a question. What does that even mean? Does the killer suddenly decide to go fishing and use his victims as bait? Huh. Sounds like a jigsaw trap to me. Maybe the killer is a lot smarter in this book. Big Red had a routine. He woke up around 5. He reattached his artificial leg. Then he stuck in his glass eyeball and went out to do his business. Big Red asked the question he asked himself every morning. Why didn't he ever catch a fish? Maybe it was because he always forgot to bring the bait. I see, so this must be the killer's first victim. Instead of a fish, Big Red caught a thin white plastic disc. The disc was pitted with little black holes. Near the top there were 2 big black holes, like eyes. I should have known. Saw didn't even come about until 10 years later, so I shouldn't have expected the killer to be any smarter than the guy who wrote this junk. Bottom line, this cover, much like the last one, is false advertising. Could it possibly get any worse? Then he fitted the mask over his face. Right away there was this sucking sound. The mask seemed to be attaching itself to his face, like some huge leech. What? The hunter carefully placed the wet mask over his face. As he did so, he felt a strange surge through his body, making him shake and quiver both with pleasure and pain. You know, it's no secret that even the Friday the 13th movies contradict one another. However, that's because they didn't always use the same producer, director, or even writer. Which is not the case here, as it's the same guy who wrote both books. If you have to ruin Friday the 13th, can't you at least be consistent with what you're writing? Or are you perhaps saying that the mask gets more powerful every time it's used? His left eye was tingling, which was strange, because that was his glass eye. Then the tingling started in his left leg, which was also strange. He had lost his left leg when he was 14. Well, he's not explicit about it, but one can easily draw that conclusion. Which brings me back to my problem with the first novel. If the forces of hell wanted the killing to continue, why claim Jason at all? Why not just let him loose? Why go through all the trouble of creating a magical hockey mask that grows more powerful, no less? I would hope that the other characters have more redeeming qualities. But I really shouldn't, right? As you might remember, there was this obnoxious guy in the first novel called Boone, who pretty much brought all the other characters to their deaths. Turns out he has a little sister. What is she like? One look at Kelly and people could tell that something awful had happened to her. They also said that unfiltered Camels were among the deadliest cigarettes in the world. Kelly had been smoking Camels ever since. This is interesting. Kelly is being the typical type of character you want to die by the end of the novel. However, since the focus is mostly on her, you'd think she's the final girl who'd survive, and actually even turn into a more likable character. Who am I kidding? Most kids thought of Carly as a priss, because she always got straight A's and wouldn't party hardy. Kelly had never thought of her like that. It didn't really surprise her that Carly made it out of there. What? What? Have you even read your own novel? Boone was the only character in this book that had any survival experience. So it surprises me that he, of all people, didn't survive, and someone like Carly did. Now you'd think that someone like Kelly, Boone's own little sister, would know her brother well enough to be surprised that he didn't survive, and that Carly, of all people, did survive. It's almost like she's not at all saddened by his death, which makes the whole premise of this novel, i.e. getting revenge for her brother's death, a lie. There are other characters, but from the beginning you already know they won't survive, so here they are for those it may concern. All the articles were datelined Crystal Lake, Massachusetts. Since the camp used in the first movie was located in New Jersey, and some of the license plates from the same movie were also from New Jersey, it is commonly accepted amongst fans that Camp Crystal Lake is located in New Jersey, not Massachusetts. Somebody didn't do his homework, but considering anything else in his books, does that really surprise you? "You're right, Cal," Boone said sadly. "They don't know what they're in for." "That's right, Cal," he said. "They can't see me, they can't hear me, but you can, can't you, Cal?" Kelly seeing her dead brother. Why not? Earlier I said it seemed to me that Kelly might not care as much about her brother's death as she makes it seem. But if she saw her brother telling her that she should avenge his death, now that makes a little more sense. At least it would if that happens before she came to Crystal Lake, not when she's already arrived. "Sorry," Boone said. "This axe is mine." Kelly let go of the axe, gaping at her brother in horror. Boone was waving a bony hand in the air. "Over here, you fool!" "Boone," she said softly. "Why are you doing this? To me?" "Why not?" he cackled. Alright, that's it. This book is even worse than the last one. I mean, is this supposed to be a twist? That Boone, of whom we initially thought wanted his sister to avenge him, really wanted to kill her? Well, no. I mean, for one thing, what kind of sister refers to her own brother by his last name? So no wonder he wants her dead. It's hardly a twist if you make it clear from the very beginning that these two are dysfunctional siblings. I didn't think anyone can sink any lower than the Titan, but this guy somehow manages. This was D. I'm signing off.